Peace, world. What is going on? Welcome to another Substantial Weekly. It is good to be back. I hope all of y'all are doing well. If it's your first time to the channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Be sure to like this video, share if you don't mind, all that good stuff. Definitely tune in weekly for updates about all the goings-ons, new music that's coming, and so much more, man. Upcoming events, new merchandise, etc., etc., and also album updates. And we're going to get into a lot today. Going to get into a little bit of personal stuff too. Something that been quietly preparing for that I recently went through yesterday. So we're going to talk about that a little bit. Because if you've been following me for a while, you know what it is, man. I try to keep you in the loop with different things going on in different parts of my life, not just the music. All right. So yeah, man, we're going to jump into it in a minute. Nothing has changed so far. Just a quick update on the status of my channel in terms of regaining monetization. So if you wish to donate, you can do so by donating via Cash App, Venmo, or PayPal. The information is here, or you can go into the description of this video. Just follow that bio.site/substantial, and there's a section called support. All right. So yeah, man, but we're going to jump into it today. A lot to get into, and sometimes we run overtime. So I'm going to go ahead and start with the news and let you know what's going on. So real quick, first and foremost, we got Otakon coming up July 29th through the 31st. That is happening here in Washington, D.C., in the D.C. area, pardon me. Well, it'll actually be in D.C. I'm not in D.C. So anyway, definitely check out this event. It is a really dope convention. It's one of the first, if not the first convention I ever attended, if I'm not mistaken. Shout out to my nephew, G. And yeah, man, I'll be there along with the rest of the Substantial Art and Music team / family. We will be there next weekend, all throughout. We'll be holding our second SketchPads event, which we are super excited about. So you definitely want to check that out. I'm gonna get into details in that in a second. If you are interested in attending Otakon, you can grab your tickets at otakon.com. And that is OTAKON.com. All right, definitely check them out. They have been doing great events for a long time, and I'm sure you'll see a lot of the folks if you've never been, but you've been to other conventions locally. You'll see a lot of the fam who've been attending for years. It's always a good time. Always look forward to seeing old faces, meeting new fans, and also bumping into some of my former students. That's always dope too. All right, so on that note, let's talk about the event that will be happening at Otakon. All right, so we will be doing an event called SketchPads, the second SketchPads event, and we have live beats being provided by Carolyn Malachi. You might remember her from some of my other releases. Carolyn Malachi was on the Bob Alloy second album, a song called Espelio. Which unfortunately won't be on the album going forward. I got into that last week, but she was featured on that. She was also featured on Greenspan's album and a remix that you might have heard called Life in the Key of Green, which was on the remix I did for my Expositions project. So shout out to her. She's amazingly talented. She has been doing her thing for a minute. Grammy nominated, has toured the world. Super dope person. All right, so she is going to be our featured producer / singer-songwriter who's going to be playing music for everyone who comes through. And then we got Rochelle Etienne Robinson, aka my baby mama, aka my wife and business partner, who's going to be doing live art. People forget that both of us are visual artists, and so she's going to be hooking the iPad up and doing live art, while we also have two guest cosplayers. We got Jen, and we also have T, who are going to be our guest cosplayers. And this will be located in panel room 4, and it's happening at 9:15 p.m. So definitely come out and check that out. But we're gonna pause for a second, because I just realized I forgot to do something. Man, if you're tuning in right now, be sure to say peace. Let us know where you're tuning in from, all that good stuff. All right. Yes. Yeah, Warpath. That's right. This is more than enough. It's funny you remember that. Yeah, man. She's gonna be holding it down, doing some dope live art. And this event is, again, sponsored by Words, Beats, and Life, Blick Art Materials, and also Bites and Beats. Shout out to all of them for contributing and making this event possible, and making it possible for us to give you free gift bags. Those gift bags will include a SketchPad, actually 2 small SketchPads, and then pencils. What other supplies are in there? Pencils, erasers, some cool stickers from Words, Beats, and Life, and pens as well. So yeah, you should come through. It's going to be a good time. It's arguably one of the most relaxing experiences you will have at a convention. Conventions are typically known for being just a lot happening. But if you're a person who just kind of needs a few minutes or needs an hour to just kind of get away and recharge and just kind of take in some dope art and some dope music, it's a great place to check out. I don't know what else to tell you, man. I can't put any more sauce on it. You know what I'm saying? To get you even more hype. But yeah, man, looking forward to that. Peace. What's going on, Josh? Joshua, good to see you up in here. Griselda, good to see you up in this joint. See you caught the live. Warpath, peace to you. My man Early, always good to see you as well. So yeah, man, so that's what's going on. The upcoming events that we got going on. Super excited for that. We do have other Sketchpad events that will be happening. We are in the process of booking the next one, so we'll keep you posted on that. And Substantial Art and Music also has a workshop coming up as well. We will release details on that as soon as possible. Hey, peace, Ville, what's going on? Ville NS, Venice Beach in the house, that's what's up. And my man Tommy Hackett, good to see you. All right, peace, y'all. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. All right, so let's keep it moving for a second. Yeah, so lots of things to cover. Next up, we're gonna just a quick reminder about the summer merch sale that's happening right now. If you have missed it, no worries, you still got about a week left. All right, but what you need to do is you're gonna visit subartandmusic.com and go to the store, and you can get 25% off everything right now. Sorry if you hear a whole lot of banging. But yeah, man, just put in code summer25 and you can get all the discounts and all that good stuff, because I'm happy to announce that we do have some new merch that's going on there too. And yeah, let's get that up on the screen right about now-ish. I had copy and pasted from earlier and that did not work, so here we go. Shazam. But yeah, man, definitely check out the summer merch sale. Recently added a new piece of merch because we're going to have this live at Otakon. So I tried to make sure it was available online for everybody. And that is this. So you've seen the Lo-Fi Mugen with a blue pen tee. Well, pardon me, you saw it as a hoodie and you saw it as a sticker before, but now we have it as a t-shirt. We will have those t-shirts available at the upcoming at Otakon and also at SketchPads. It will be available, but you are more than free to cop it on the store and go ahead and get that discount, get 25% off right now. All right, save you a little bit of cheddar. So definitely check that out and support if you can. It's greatly appreciated, man. But the summer sale will be ending not next week, the week after next. So you got just about 2 weeks, a little bit less than 2 weeks left to support and save you some money, all that good stuff. But all the merch that is available on that store, if you're coming to Otakon, most of that merch will be available in person as well. If you're trying to stop through, get some pictures, get some signatures, all that good stuff. All right, let's see. That's what's up. Hey man, I love to see y'all interacting with each other and making new connections and building and all of that, man. It's super dope. Hey, what's going on, the Last King Saint? What's going on? Peace. Good to see you up in here. Random question, a little bit off topic. Anybody planning to see Nope this weekend? Let me know. I'm definitely planning to check it out. It's been mostly positive reviews, with some people not too crazy about certain aspects of it, because apparently the story might be a little bit difficult to follow for some. And of course, if you're like a super cinema head or a cinephile who like really, really loves movies, there's a lot of references that are pulled or a lot of inspiration that's drawn from other movies. And if you haven't seen those movies, it might make it more difficult to follow, is what I've heard. But I'm excited to check that joint out. I'm a fan. Jordan Peele definitely is one of the greats. But yeah, man. Hey, early. I'm down. And it's funny, man. I'm selective about who I see certain movies with, and that's one of those movies that, because I know it's probably not going to be everyone's cup of tea, I'm like, yeah, I don't know if I want to see it with certain people because they're gonna mess up my vibes, son. By the way, you can also the Nightbot just threw that link up in there with the store on there. Remember, you can use the summer 25 code on both Bandcamp, and you can use it on the Sub Art and Music store. All right, so don't forget. Yeah, early. Yeah, let's talk, man. I'll give you a buzz. Probably check it sometime in the week, though, because the weekend we got a lot of prep to do for Otakon, and we'll figure it out. I'll definitely holler at you once I get offline, all right? But yeah, man, so let's keep it moving on to the next. Now, this subject is going to be a little off-putting for some of y'all, but, try to be transparent when possible, you know what I mean? John Pierce says they're definitely seeing Nope. Word. All right. So let's get into this next subject. I'm gonna go ahead and throw the picture up here. Bang. So look. So check it out, right? So recently, there's been a lot going on in the world, and one of the things happening in the world has been a lot of stuff coming up with Roe v. Wade, and women's rights, all this stuff with abortion. And making it even more difficult for women to do what they deem is necessary for their life and their bodies. And the ironic part about it all, back in May, so for well over 2 years, my wife and I have been talking about our future plans, and how we didn't plan on having any more kids. And so we started talking about what we would do, because she's definitely done more than her share in terms of birth control and things of that nature. And, and so we started talking about the big snips, a little snip action, you know what I'm saying? And me getting the vasectomy. And again, this might not be comfortable for some of you. So if you're about to dip, it's all good. But hey, man, listen, I've been on my channel talking about me dealing with, dealing with precancerous growths and things of that nature. You know what I mean? This is a part of life. We can't escape it. And a lot of times there's artists that we love and admire, we don't know what's going on with them. They deal with their battles personally, and they don't want people in their business like that. But what I find is that sharing my story and sharing what's going on with me sometimes inspires people to do better, make better decisions for their lives, or just, at least start the conversation. And that's all I'm trying to help folks do. So anyway, we started having conversations about that. And yeah, man, and I let some folks know, when I was having these conversations, there are some approaches that I appreciated more than others, because one of the things I noticed, I was on one hand, we're telling women that they shouldn't be, that folks shouldn't be forcing them to do things to their body, or not to be able to do things to their body. And of course, I'm 100% on board with that. But I felt like some of the talk, when it came to people encouraging me to get a vasectomy, was a bit aggressive, especially because I've gone through certain procedures and stuff before. So I'm not a person who's never gone through any type of procedure. I've, been sedated and gone through very serious surgeries and had some serious injuries and had other procedures done in the past. And they have not been it's not an enjoyable thing. So the idea of rushing to go out and having this procedure performed, I wasn't gonna pretend like I was excited about it. It didn't mean I wasn't open to it, but I definitely, I just asked folks to be a bit more, this is hella sus, but I don't care, a bit more gentle about how they speak about certain things, you know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, it is your body. And so, I did my research, talked to a few homies, I ain't gonna put their names out there, but the first brother I talked to, he ended up, the procedure didn't go as smooth as a lot of people always say, how it's a lot easier, it's less invasive. It's not, it's in and out. It's I don't want to say they downplay the seriousness of it, but that's how it feels sometimes. And oftentimes it's not coming from the information I was getting wasn't coming from men. So that's why, I did my part to speak to some brothers about what their experience was like. And so the first homie I talked to had the worst experience of anyone I'd ever spoke to. So that definitely didn't make me eager to get it done. You know what I mean? And so, but yo, I appreciate the support. Thank y'all. But yeah, so anyway, yeah, man, he basically, the first time he did it, it didn't take. So he had to do it twice. And I had never heard of anyone going through that, but that does happen. And it was important for me to hear from, start my conversation there, because so many people, again, was downplaying how serious it was. And so anyway, spoke to a few people after that. And of course, from there on, like most of the situations, the majority of the people I talked to, they were in and out, wasn't a big deal. Everything was everything. So long story short, back in early May, I think before then, I went and spoke to my primary care physician and got, and she recommended a urologist I could see. And then from there, I met with them early May, and I was hoping to get it done back in May. But due to scheduling conflicts on my end, because this is prior to, them reversing Roe v. Wade. And so like it was hard to schedule something, because I had to keep in mind that, okay, after I get this procedure, I don't know how my body's going to respond in terms of like how much pain I'm going to be in, et cetera, et cetera. Hey, peace. What's going on? Happy Mochi. All right. And so, yeah, so I was trying to be mindful of the fact that, yeah, it might not be great to get this when I'm about to be doing a lot of traveling or have to be up and about up and about a lot. And so, yeah, so I basically postponed it to yesterday. So that was July 21st is when I scheduled for my vasectomy. So I got it yesterday. And yeah, man, the procedure was in and out. I went in there in the morning, got everything, got situated. And yeah, the day was a little rough in the beginning, only because of the fact that most times they don't sedate you to do it. The doctor I work with chooses to sedate their patients and stuff. And so I was okay with that. I'm like, hey, man, a little extra sleep, I'll take it. You know what I'm saying? So, and yeah, so I went in, they sedated me, went through the process. I woke up. There was no real like pain or anything when I woke up. There's been a little bit of uncomfortableness here and there, but definitely not bad, not unbearable, anything. And most importantly, man, look, the reason why I got it is I know that I don't want any more children. I'm grateful for the children I have. They're amazing. They're beautiful. And to be quite frank, I know for a fact that we cannot afford to have another child, and I don't want to sacrifice their quality of life because, we were irresponsible, or I was irresponsible, right? I know what I can handle at this point, and I think I'm good with what we got, right? And my wife feels the same way. And so it's a decision we came to together, and we did what made the most sense for our family. And I'm grateful that we're in a position where we live in a place where we can do that. And unfortunately, there are situations right now where some people can't do what may make the most sense for them. And it's not always someone being irresponsible. Sometimes people are planning to have children, and then something comes up where that pregnancy is going to threaten their life. And that, I'm pretty sure, wasn't a part of their plan. And that's not a sacrifice some people are willing to make. And so they make extremely tough decisions, that sometimes some of us may not agree with. But it's not about you fully agreeing with with a decision that someone is making for their life and how it's going to affect their family. That's their choice, right? So I think it's important for us to respect that, because not everyone we think of is out here using that like birth control, right? Like things happen, and and it's important to understand that. And then never mind the criminal aspect, like not to forget the criminal aspect of it too. Like people being forced to end up having the child of their rapist, you know what I mean? And all types of crazy situations that people really just don't fully consider. They just kind of write it off as these like general situations, as just people being careless. And even if there are some people being careless, we shouldn't be, I think those decisions I think, trying to rectify those situations and then drastically affecting the lives of others, that's unacceptable. You know what I mean? So those are my feelings on it. To be frank, be extremely frank with y'all, I'm only really speaking about Roe v. Wade today and my feelings on it, mainly because of the procedure I had yesterday. But I made it real clear to my wife in conversations. It's just like, I don't think this is a conversation that needs to be led by men. You know what I mean? I think we do our part to support the women we love and the women in our community and what they deem is best for them and their bodies. You know what I mean? And try to be as supportive as possible. So that's where I stand on it. Not really interested in getting into some long debate with anybody on it. You know what I mean? It's just, just my thoughts. All right, and I appreciate y'all for respecting that, and I appreciate y'all for listening. So I'm not out here telling every guy to go get a vasectomy. What I am saying is, if you're not having kids, you don't want kids, and if you're not sure if you're gonna feel like that in some years, it's a lot easier to get a procedure to get that reversed than it is for women. You know what I mean? So just something to consider, and then also, again, like. It's just doing our part to support our partners and the sacrifices they make and have made. There's never, how can I put it? No matter how hard you try, like every time your woman decides to have a child, especially as a woman of color in this country, literally she's putting her life at risk. Like I don't know if you all are familiar with the stats, but like in particular with black women, in terms of the mortality rate for black women who have children. So it's something extremely serious. And it's like, and the last thing you want is to be in a situation where y'all are having a child that is unplanned, when you could have avoided that. And and I'm just doing what I can, man. You know what I mean? To support my wife and our family. All right. So on that note, I feel like I'm rambling at this point. So I'm going to go ahead and keep it moving. I appreciate y'all for listening. That's what's up, Early. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead, throw your pause business all out there, son. Hey, Frank, what's going on? Frank Goita. Happy Friday to you, family. All right. Thanks for sharing. A lot of couples really need to have this talk, especially after the Supreme Court decision. Yeah, absolutely. And I'm just happy that we were having this talk long before that decision. Just because we took it serious, man. And we know, like, having a kid's a lot. And, both of our kids were planned. That's not always the case for some. But I know that, like, we're considering how the world's going right now with inflation and all these other challenges. I haven't really been getting into all of the financial and personal challenges my family's been going through. But, it's been rough. Like, this is not even like the last few months. Like, since last October, when we had some family illnesses and folks who passed away in our family. Like, since then, like, we've been trying to fully recover since then, you know what I mean? And make whatever adjustments with things slowing down, things with the business slowing down, and some aspects and other sides of the business picking up. And it's rough. It's tough for everybody. And we know that just us being unprepared and having another child on the way is not something, it would not be a great look. And so we did what was necessary. All right. So on that note, man, thank y'all for listening to all that. Let's keep it moving and get into some other things. So look, let's go ahead and talk about Adultish. So I just wanted to update y'all real quick, let y'all know what's going on with the album. And we can also start the Q&A. We'll start the Q&A with Adultish, focus on talking about that in particular. For those who don't know, Adultish is the name of my next album. It is going to be completely produced by me, and what I've been debating on doing, and I might have said this to y'all already, is basically releasing there's going to be Adultish where like I produced all the tracks, and then I have tracks from other producers that I've worked with over the years who've already given me tracks that I plan on using as a follow-up to Adultish. Probably be like like 2.0 of Adultish or whatever. And I don't know if it's going to be full length. It might just be an EP. just so y'all can get some of these tracks that were produced by other people. But just, full transparency is part of the transparency. Part of the reason why I've, moved to producing the record myself, fully myself, sorry. And it's because, the thing that's tough sometimes about like working with other producers, right? Nowadays, it is most of the music you hear in hip hop, vast majority of it, especially underground stuff, the samples aren't cleared most of the times, right? And so every time we put out music, we're running a risk. Bad enough, we see barely, most artists, I would say, don't break even in terms of what they spend on making their album, right? So a lot of artists, just to put an album out, oh, that's what's up, Warpath. Thank you. So a lot of artists, when they put their album out, they spend a lot of money that they ultimately don't recoup, right? And so I've been lucky over the years that I've been able to crowdfund some of my projects and things like that. And I'm grateful to y'all because I've been able to do it in a way that allows me to make a living. And the way I feel is like the amount of emails that I get on a regular basis, or DMs and comments and stuff on videos and other things about, when you dropping something new, this, that, and the third. I just ask the fans who say they want more from me to put their money where their mouth is. It's like, I have no problem investing thousands of dollars into making art that I love. But I do have a problem doing that and then next to no one show up and support it. You know what I mean? So, because I'm taking money out of my family's mouth. And the reality of it is, regardless to, how much you decide to spend on supporting me, whether it's you just press play and you give me a fraction of a penny every time you play, or you buy a CD, or you buy hundreds of dollars worth of merchandise in a year, or $100 worth of merch, it will never equate to how much I've invested in making it. You understand? So if you see a track and I got multiple people listed on that, and and we're doing splits, and some of them I had to pay in advance, I had to maintain my equipment, all of these different things. Every project I've ever dropped, has ranged in on the low, like maybe $10,000 to as high as like over $40,000, right? So every time I put out an album is like buying a car, you know what I mean? And I think a lot of people don't know that. And so, man, so, I just want to make sure that I'm fully being transparent with folks. And so I'm bringing that up also because I'm extremely grateful to those of you who support, because of the fact that you really don't have to. And so those of you who choose to support, whether you're just playing it on Spotify or you're buying it on Bandcamp, or wherever you're supporting the music, I'm eternally grateful because I know you got other options. And so I'm grateful that you rock with me. But that being said, I want to tell you, absolutely, Warpath. Absolutely. So I just want to tell you certain key things about what's happening with the record, right? So the LP version of it, when I put it on vinyl, this particular joint, the album will be shorter than some of my other releases. And part of the reason why it will be shorter is because, from the gate, when I decided to work on Adultish, my goal was to make it 10 tracks, right? I didn't want to make it super long. I didn't want to make it too short. So it's going to be about 40 minutes long, right? My goal is to just and it's important for folks to know I'm doing double work, right? I'm producing it and I'm writing it, writing and recording it. So, and I'm outsourcing the mixing. I talked to Tone Deaf. Hopefully, if his schedule permits, he already said he's interested in mixing it. So hopefully Tone Deaf will be mixing the album. Shout out to my Q&5 family. And I'm looking into who's going to be mastering the record as well. I got 2 people in mind, and so we'll see how that goes. I'll keep you posted on that. But it's going to be a short record. But the reason why that's a good thing is because it actually keeps the cost down in terms of doing vinyl. It allows me to make vinyl that I don't have to charge you as much for, right? Because basically, instead of me doing a double LP, I can go ahead and do I can just do a single LP in order to get it manufactured. So that's going to make it so it's not twice as much to put out. You feel me? Let me see. All right. I mean, that's about the time of a break at work, so it fits the theme, I think. Yeah, that's a great. Hey, man, that's a great point. I like that. You know, thank you, Uncrowned Otaku. Yeah, didn't even consider that. You know what I'm saying? Putting that. I'm just gonna hold on to that thought. You know what I mean? That's a good way to look at it. But yeah. So so it's gonna be about 40 minutes. It should fit on one LP. Which will be a good look. That'll keep some of the vinyl costs down. And like I said, I'm planning to do additional tracks for it as well. And the other thing that I'm really considering, and I know some of you might not be crazy about this, because if you're like me, you like to get that whole album at once, right? Like basically you get the whole album and you're really able to kind of digest it, like how it works cohesively all together. And that's very much how I'm making my album, so you can listen to it all together. But unfortunately, the way streaming works, streaming is dominated by singles, right? And so I'm literally considering an approach where almost every track from my album is released individually leading up to the full release. Now, I say all that to say that's for Spotify, Amazon Music, Apple Music, all of that. It's strictly for those streaming services. Those of you who support on Bandcamp, y'all are going to get the full album, right? Like, so at some point in time, what I'm doing is trying to work out the plan where, like, on Bandcamp, maybe the whole thing drops after a certain period of time. Like maybe I drop a few of the singles and then drop the whole album on Bandcamp. But then there will be a delayed rollout of the songs on the streaming platforms, because basically the way streaming works, if you drop a single, you get to pitch the single, right? You only can pitch one song at a time. So if I drop the full LP, and I got evidence of this, I can show y'all. I teach digital distribution for those of you who don't know. And if I don't take that approach, I basically got to rely and hope that those of you who support my stuff are going to actually go and listen to the whole album. And the reality of it is, the longer the album is, the less people listen to it. Like, for example, the last few tracks on the album usually have the least amount of streams, and it's largely because people start records but don't finish them most days, right? And sometimes when they go back to it, sometimes they pick up where they left off. Other times they go right back to the beginning. So some of the best records on the album sometimes don't get plays unless you drop them as singles. There are albums that I've dropped there are albums that I've dropped that literally have songs on it that were singles that have hundreds of thousands of plays or 50,000 plays. And then there are tracks on that same album that might only have 9,000 plays, right? And so that means that majority of the people who heard the one song didn't necessarily give the other songs a chance. And so the best way for me to ensure that all of this work that I've been putting in for the last 2+ years gets heard, right, is by releasing as many of the songs as singles as possible. So that might mean I do a situation where there are 9 singles leading up to the album, just to give it a shot at landing on different playlists and things of that nature. And so, not something I love. I don't love the idea of doing it, but just from a marketing standpoint, considering I'm trying to keep my budget down as much as possible, but more importantly, see a bigger return from the release, that strategy probably makes the most sense, which will delay the release of the full album. But my goal is to still get the full album on Bandcamp ahead of time. So just something to keep in mind. All right. But let me know your thoughts, man. I know that's maybe not what some of you wanted to hear, but at the same time, just from a business standpoint and making the most of this whole independent life, I think that might be the goal, might be the move. Small question to start with. Here we go from Warpath. Small question to start with. Is the entire album artwork keeping the same look, or is there going to be some color elsewhere? So that, great question. So what you're seeing right now, this is not the full album artwork. This is just the main logo. So you will, there'll be t-shirts with this logo on it. Possibly hats, things of that nature that have this logo on it. But I've been working with a really talented artist, the same brother who did the artwork for Beautiful Work. We're in talks. We met this week. He's going to be doing the artwork for the full LP. That does not mean it's going to look like the Beautiful Work cover, but the same talented artist who did that will be working on my album cover for Adultish. All right, so yeah, it's going to be colorful, it's going to be bright, it's going to have Easter eggs and things like that. Yeah, man, maybe what I'll do too is on maybe on Patreon, I'll throw up some of the drafts, early drafts of the artwork once we get closer to finishing the art. Like, I'll wait to show the main art, and then, like, on Patreon, let y'all see some of the sketches leading up. Peace. Hey, thanks for asking, E. I am good, man. Keeping busy. You know, I'm counting my blessings. All right. Early, man. I appreciate it. Glad you like the idea. That would be awesome if it was a story. 1 episode per week. Ooh. Huh. So maybe not 1 per week. Like, maybe I'll probably split it up where it's like 1 every 2 to 3 weeks. But that could be interesting. I like that idea. Hadn't even considered that. All right. Almost like a podcast. Yeah, that's how I prefer to do it as well. I'm old fashioned. I usually just buy albums either on Bandcamp or Amazon. I just haven't really gotten to streaming. Now I understand completely, you know? All right, let's see. Is it going to be like Kanye's Good Fridays back in 2010, a track a week to lead up to the project releasing? Yeah, so I'm probably not going to do a track a week. What I'll consider doing is maybe a track every 2 weeks or 3 weeks, but it would be at least every 2 weeks, just so each track has a chance to breathe a little bit, has a chance to get in front of tastemakers and all of that. And, you know, again, we are still working out some of the details in terms of how it's going to be marketed. So, yeah, but right now it would be at least every 2 to 3 weeks is how we do it. All right. And when I say we, I'm talking about me and my business partner / wife, and any of the other people working on the team. Hey, what's going on, Steph? Good to see you, sis. All right. Let's see. Got another one. Glad to hear that. I'm a designer as well, so I was looking at it like the logo, but it needs some color and artwork. Yeah, for sure. You should know me well enough to know that, you know, the artwork, I definitely put a lot of thought into the artwork. Right now, this is just the logo, just getting that branding in your head. And I'm pretty sure you're going to love what we do at the end of the day. All right. So look, while I got you here, let's hear something, shall we? So this week, rather than playing a snippet of a song from it, I'm going to play a snippet of a beat from the joint. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, clap it up for Mrs. Robinson up in here. Yeah, man. Yeah. So, dope concept. Hey, I appreciate it, Bernard. Thank you. The logo is going to be amazing. That I know. I appreciate it. Thank you so much, sis. All right. So look. Let's see. Let's play a little sample of a track. So since the missus popped up in here, I'm gonna play y'all her favorite beat from the joint. All right, here we go. No title. This track is currently untitled. I have the concept for it, and I'm in the process of writing it. It's gonna be the next one I record, but here it is. Yeah. Yeah, man. Hope y'all was digging that. You know. Yeah, shout out to Marcus D. So as some of you already know, Marcus D has his series of the Omega Library joint where he got the sample packs. And so he shared a couple of them with me, and that beat in particular was made using some of the stuff from the sample packs. So shout out to him for definitely just having a great ear, man, and composing some amazing music. So I flipped that beat, hit him up, was like, yo, check this out, let me know what you think, see if let me know if you're feeling it. And he was like, yeah. He was definitely feeling the vibe of that joint. So yeah, man, excited, definitely excited, for folks to hear more of the record. Let me know, because the video is doing a weird thing on my side. Let me know if it's coming through clearly for y'all, or if it's a slight delay, or if it's a little glitchy or whatever. Just let me know. But yeah, it's doing something weird on my side. Just want to make sure y'all are good. But some other updates with the album. So far, remember I said it's going to be 10 tracks. I have 6 of them recorded. Of those 6, one of them is half recorded, and I might be T. Lucas is going to be dropping a verse on this recent track that we did. The only hold up with that track after getting T. Lucas's verse done and recorded is finalizing the clearing of the sample. The folks who allowed me to sample, well, I reached out to the people who I sampled, and they love the beat. They just haven't heard what I've recorded yet. And so I'm sending that over to them once we get T. Lucas's verse done, and hopefully we get some cuts from RBI. He's the one that did the cuts on the other T. Lucas track with me on it called The New Balance. So yeah, man. So we try and do it up for that track. It's going to be really great. That track is specifically done for folks in the DMV who remember a station called 1580. Flavor 1580. So yeah, man. No, it's a great record, and I'm excited for folks to hear it. I think whether you're from the area or not, you can appreciate the joint for sure. Yeah, nah, he actually is. I mean, he's killing it on the synth right now. You know, Warpath says he knows he's gonna bring the fire. Yeah, man, T's gonna kill it. So that track's in the works. There's a track on the album that features Mega Ran that's already done. I played a sample of a track called Reed Richards for y'all already. There's another track called Salt and Pepper. Some of y'all have heard a piece of that maybe in the past. That track features some hook sample vocals and an intro by my man Black Root. I'm thinking about, for that particular track, since it has a Baltimore club feel, doing a remix pack of that joint. So, my goal is to get Tone, get my man Chufu, get my cousin out of Baltimore, Ducky Dynamo, and maybe one other person or 2 more people to do a remix pack. You know what I mean? Just some straight up club joints of that particular track, because that's the vibe of it. So yeah, man. Hey, Mega Stan, word. And just to let y'all know, man, next Friday, a new track is dropping with me, Mega Ran, and Novelist. The track is called Morning Reflections. So that's about to drop. And I'm super excited for y'all to hear that full track, because it's dope. I haven't even heard Novelist verse yet. Just me and Rand's verse alone was killer. Along with the hook, and the beat is amazing too. Definitely some jazzy vibes on it. Real soulful joint. So looking forward to that joint dropping. So it was supposed to come out today originally, and then it got postponed a week. So it'll be out next Friday. So look out for that. Definitely going to be dope. All right. Let's see. Yeah, man. Yeah, he's definitely the dude, man. He can rhyme, and he rhymes extremely well. He's more important than him making dope music and him being a talented MC, man. He's a great person. Just a real stand-up dude. So shout out to Mega Ran, man. Got nothing but love for him. Yeah, so I'm excited for y'all to hear that. But Yeah, man. I got it's funny. I want to play a sample. I'll let y'all hear a sample of this beat. It is not done. It's not done, but I like it. I like it a lot. Hold up. Let me see if I can find it real quick. Yeah, there it is. There it is. Yeah, man. There you go. All right. I ain't gonna tell y'all the name of the beat. Y'all just gonna. So this is a track that I'm writing. I'm debating on if it's gonna be the intro for the album, but this is not done. Rough draft, super rough draft. But I hope y'all like it. Let's see. Let me make sure that's done. Let's get that volume up. All right, so one more track for the road. Again, rough draft. Still got some elements to add to it. But I was meeting with the artist who's working on the cover, and he was like, "Yo, that beat right there." And he's like, "I can't wait to hear what you do with it, son. I can't wait to hear what you do." And I'm like, "Bro, like the stuff I've written to it so far is dope. It's just gonna be one verse and a hook." All right, but here you go. Super rough draft, not finished, no bass line, missing some other elements too. Oh, no worries though. It's one verse, but it's gonna be a long verse. It's not gonna be like quick in and out situation. So don't worry, Kenneth, I got you. Yeah, man. Yeah, hey, peace sometimes, V. Good to see you up in here. Thanks for supporting. All right. Hey, what's going on, Crayola? Thank you, man. Yeah, yo. So it's just what up, Ice Killer? Yeah, man. I got you. Don't worry. I'm a black out on the beat for sure. I'm really excited to hey, thank you, V. Yeah, man. Nah, I'm super excited to work on that joint, man. Like I said, man, it's been a great experience working on the album. It's been tough because, again, this is the first project where I'm producing it top to bottom. Before, ever since I've been making music professionally. Back in my demo days, everything I was putting out was produced by me top to bottom, right? But since I've been releasing music professionally, I'm known for the different producers I've collabed with, right? Like from Noah of Cunning Linguist to Odyssey to Nujabes to Monarisic / DJ Dextream, Kenichiro Nishihara. Like I've worked with some, of course, Marcus D. I mean, the list goes on and on, man. My man Algorithm, who now goes by Almost. Like I've had some amazing producers. So it was a lot. I put a lot of pressure on myself making like this record, and and it's like it's part of the reason why it's taking so long. Like it probably would have been done had we not been in the pandemic. Like it would have been done and out already, but like there were so many other things I had to take on to make sure to keep my family afloat and all of that, and then you just homeschooling our youngest daughter and all. So it's a lot. So it's a million and one excuses for why it's taking. Most of it's just me, but I'm excited to get this record done and out to y'all. And so we're closer than we've ever been. More than half of the tracks recorded. Probably 80% of it or 70+% of it's already written. Just fine tuning everything. Yeah, man. Shout out to CL, man. Those are great dudes. Really talented brothers, man. Shout out to anybody where their first time getting introduced to me was through them, because I featured on a lot of their past releases and toured with them many times, Yeah. Yo, thank you. Appreciate it, Warpath. Yeah, man. I try to keep it simple, just to kind of create a nice subtle vibe, but then also give a lot of room to the lyrics, right? Like, so I can really just do what I do, yeah, man. Santa Cruz like 8 years ago. Word. I feel like I might have been at that show. You know what I mean? Because I know one of the times they went to Santa Cruz, I actually opened for them. So I'm not sure if that was the show, but me and Marcus D rocked with them in Santa Cruz years ago. All right. Not when you do, but that you do. Word. I feel you, man. I feel you. So yeah, if you got any other questions, go ahead, hit me with those right now. I'm trying to see if there's something else I could share with y'all before we dip. I got this one beat that it's probably not gonna be on the project, but it was a beat I made for it. I can play that. Then I got, let's see, hold up. There's songs that were cut too. Y'all heard all of those though, because like songs that were supposed to be on the album that ended up not making the album, Make It Home, that was supposed to be on the album and that got cut. Say Less, the original version, was on the album, and then that was we did a remix of it and put that on what's the joint called? We put that on We Met in Tokyo with me and Funky DL, and then the song What I've Been Saying was on What I've Been Saying Volume 1. So yeah, those were all tracks that were supposed to be on it. So at some point I might release a deluxe edition, a digital deluxe edition, or when I do the CD, include those tracks as bonus tracks. But yeah, man. All right, let's see. Since you've been producing more, what makes a good producer in your opinion? And what made you more comfortable being a producer aside from the approval of your producer buddies? Man, let's see. I think, well, let's leave it up there so I can reference it. So I feel like the first thing is, most great producers, they have some of them have like a signature sound, right? But I feel like even the ones who have a signature sound can be chameleons as well, where they know that when they collab with certain people, maybe I sacrifice a little bit of me to just accent a little bit more of what makes them great. I feel like a producer who's extremely underrated when it comes to what he does for other people outside of what people expect from him is DJ Premier. And what I mean by that is Primo has such a signature sound, right? But there are certain tracks that he's produced for other people that every time I tell people that, yo, Premier did that, they're like, what? Like they just don't know. And one of those songs is by Devin the Dude, a song called Doobie Ashtray. That was produced by Premier. You listen real close, you can tell it sounds like a Premier track. But the live bass that's in it and the pace of like how slow the beat is, it distinctly feels like a Devin the Dude song. You know what I mean? And of course it's about smoking, you know what I mean? But that's a great track. And then there's another track by CeeLo Green. In the evening, and they ain't rapping. I forget what that joint's called. Like, I forget if it's The Night or something like that. In the nightlife, the dark time, but like the beat is crazy. There's a sample in there that gets stuttered in the beginning. That lets you know it's Premier. But for the most part, it sounds nothing like what you expect from DJ Premier. So that's the type of producer that like I want to be. I want you to kind of, the more you listen to me, get an idea of what my sound is, right? But at the same time, I want to be able to kind of switch from doing my album to doing someone else's record and really be able to cater to what makes them great and not necessarily worry so much about putting my stamp all over it. Like, you know, if anything, what I try not to do, because I know some producers are like, they'll find a great loop and they'll just kind of let that loop live forever. And I know that there's some fans of rap who that's what they prefer. They don't like a whole lot of change ups. They don't like the beat to do too much. They like certain pockets of it. That's what hip hop was built on. But the music that I enjoy the most, even the hip hop I enjoy the most, it doesn't do that. You know what I mean? So with my beats, you're gonna hear multiple change ups. You're gonna hear different layers coming at different points of time. Like, to me, the best producers, that's what they do. You know, because I feel like they're not just dope for a hip hop producer. Like, nah, fam, like, they're a great producer and they can do amazing hip hop, but then they could venture out into other spaces and still make great music. So that's what makes a great producer to me. And what made me more comfortable, honestly, when I started seeing lo-fi, and not just lo-fi, but like jazzy hip hop in general just being embraced by folks. And it was crazy because when I was listening to a lot of the stuff that people love, like going out of their mind for, I'm like, fam, I was making that shit when I was I was 15 and 16 years old. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it was wild because the type of beats I started out making, by the time I really got in the biz, you know, that sound wasn't the dominant sound. So like when I would play beats for folks, they really wasn't interested. And then when I was rapping over my stuff, they was like, oh, that shit sound dated. Then I did the project with Nujabes. When I first dropped all that, I know people love it now, but when I first dropped it, like when I was playing it for people and shit, they was like, yo, it's cool, feel throwback and shit. Like, it wasn't, fam, like outside of Japan, a good amount of people I was pitching that record to was not interested. You know what I mean? Just to keep it a buck. And so, yeah, so seeing that kind of, and I liked a certain type of production. Then I started experimenting. I was really inspired by Earth Tone 3, like Outkast and all the stuff that they were doing, right? Which was like, it was funky. They had like certain live instrument elements, and then like the drums were progressive, right? Like they were doing different things. It wasn't just straight up trap. It was like, it was, yeah, man, it was like Black Futurism, but in production form. So it had like things that felt like old and classic and traditional, but then things about it that sounded really like they were pushing the boundaries. I feel like their sound was Black Futurism personified, right? And so, I was taking inspiration from that. So some of my drums and stuff, like when you hear a track on my new album called, what's the joint called? It's called Salt and Pepper, right? Like when you hear that track, that's the feel, that's what I was going for. You know what I mean? Got it like a classic jazz piano and shit, but the drums are like real bass heavy, and then it got like a crazy like drum break in it, but then it's chopped a certain way, which makes it feel old and new at the same time. You know what I mean? So yeah, but that's what makes a great producer to me. And those things, and of course, like you already mentioned, definitely getting co-signed by the homies. When I played a joint for Odyssey one time, and I was like I could see him nodding and kind of looked off to the side, and then he was asking me what I sampled and shit, and I was just like, yeah, son. You know what I mean? Doing the same with Marcus D. People like DL, when DL saying things to me like, damn, I kind of wish I made that beat. You know, it let me know I was heading in the right direction. And yeah. All right, let's see. Another question. Do you plan on releasing an instrumental version of the album? Oh, hell yeah. Hell yes. There will be an instrumental version of the album coming out. Absolutely. And I might be dropping the instrumentals as singles. Like, I like what Marcus D is doing, where he drops the single. 2 weeks later, the instrumental comes out, and then he follows up with more music after that. So I'm considering doing that as well, but there'll definitely be an instrumental version of the album. All right. Let's see. Next question. I appreciate that you show up every day with peace in your heart, first and foremost. How do you stay steady with peace on a minute-by-minute basis? Yo, let me tell you something. Well, first, thank you. It's extremely challenging, right? Because the world we live in isn't exactly the most peaceful place. You know what I mean? But there's always peace to be found, right? And I'm grateful. Like, I got family around me that love me. So I looked at them first and foremost, you know what I mean? Just to help me get through my day. But it starts within, right? Like, I'm a person that's experienced a lot of hardships, and I don't, as much as it might feel like I bring it up a lot depending on who you are, but the reality of it is I definitely don't talk about it as much as I could, considering how much I've gone through. And one of my friends said that recently to me because he noticed I hadn't been posting a lot. And I was just like, well, there ain't been a lot of great stuff to post. And I'm at a point where I'm very tired of social media, which is tough being a person who teaches social media marketing. Because you know what you should be doing, but it's just like, yo, you just have no desire to do it. And I just don't find a lot of peace on social media. I enjoy doing these with y'all, you know what I mean? But it's a controlled space for the most part. But just, I go through the timeline, find some things that are entertaining, then find some stuff that pisses me the hell off. And then I'm just really not motivated to share any things right now because I want to finish all of this stuff that I'm working on behind the scenes. So I find a lot of peace in my work, in terms of making music and writing and really just kind of meditating on those things and really just getting lost in that. I find a lot of peace in, like when I travel to go teach and stuff. Shout out to Omega Studios, where I teach music business classes with them and Words Beats and Life. I find a lot of peace, like sharing with young people and just pouring into them, just trying to give them some direction and hopefully create better opportunities for them in their futures and their loved ones. And so, yeah, man, I guess where I really find peace, I find peace in knowing that as bad as it gets sometimes, it can always be worse. And so I try to find the silver lining in everything, you know what I mean? Because I've seen how bad things can be. Like I've seen people shot to death in front of me, fam. So like, I know how bad it can be, you know what I mean? 13 people, 3-bedroom apartment, dog. Like watching family members put stacked chairs on top of tables so they could sleep under the dining room table. Like, you know what I mean? Like I know what it looked like, And so, and there's people out there that experience worse than that. And that I'm reminded of that every day. And so I allow myself to see and feel those things and remind myself constantly that as bad as it gets, it'll be worse. And more importantly, what am I doing to work toward improving it? And so I find peace in that. And I just try to stay focused on the goal. And it gets challenging, yo. It gets really, really challenging. I'm looking for a quality therapist right now, just so I don't feel like I got to dump this on my loved ones all the time. Just to have somebody else to really just talk to without judgment and really work through. It's always going to come back to me, but it's good, I think, to sometimes bounce ideas and discuss what you're feeling with other people, especially someone who's dedicated their time to really understanding this stuff and helping people get to solutions. And I'm a solution driven person, but sometimes I ain't got the answers, yo. You know what I mean? So yeah, man. That's a very specific question. Top 5 non-black rappers from all other ethnicities. Yeah, because my top 5 is all black. It's not like I'm intentionally discriminating. It's just certain things they talk about as a black man. I can relate to a lot, and other people' music don't speak to me culturally specific as certain artists. And so I appreciate that question. So, Big Pun. Eminem, Big Pun, who else? Oh my God, what's my man's name? Oh man, hey, Tone Deaf, yo. Tone Deaf. Tone fucking Deaf. Tone Deaf. Yeah, man, Tone is definitely one of the greatest rappers to ever do it. And I'm not just saying that because he's my friend. I listen to him with an objective ear, and I don't love everything he does. And he knows that we have these conversations, but he is the most criminally slept on rapper to ever do it. You could spend the rest of your life looking for rappers that are capable of doing what this guy does. And there are very few that do what he does on the level that he does, considering he produces, he raps, he sings, he's a pianist. Like, fam, he does a lot. He's an animator. Like, for him to rap at such a high level, but be great at so many things, he doesn't like talking about it like that because he doesn't like being pigeonholed to being like the fastest rapper in the world, but he's that. And even if you find somebody faster, he's still amongst the top fastest rappers in the world to ever do it. Tone is criminally slept on, fam. But yeah, Tone is definitely another one of mine. Oh man, who else? I gave 3. Might be hard for me to think of 5 off the top of my head, because if you just said top 5 rappers, you know, I could run them off easy. But that's a very specific question. He ain't necessarily my top 5, but he's somebody I listen to a lot lately, and I kind of dig. I like Ivan Ave, yo. Ivan Ave's pretty dope. I'm trying to think. Oh man, hey, another dude who's nasty, who's not and their group is dope. Hey man, if you don't listen to Year of the Ox is fire. Fire. Definitely in my top 5 for non-black rap groups. Year of the Ox, man, they're super, super dope. I like them a lot. I've done shows with them in VA and DC before too. They're super dope. Good dudes too. Shout out to Rick. All right. Thank you for the question. Word. That's what's up, V. I appreciate it. All right. She says, ain't no happy endings was on repeat for me in high school. That's love. That's still one of my favorite joints we did together. I remember a few New Jabez inspired producers back that made similar music, but they came before the lo-fi hype, unfortunately. Yeah. It's like folks kind of missed their window, right? But luckily, man, if you're a person who stuck around with it for a while, you know what I mean, you definitely were able to make the most of it. You know, let's see. And then a question to contrast: what 5 black artists do you feel contribute most to music itself as a whole, even though so many things are already contributed by black artists? I said, wow, that's a tough one. James Brown, without a doubt. Like, without James Brown, you might not have hip hop, right? Like, James Brown and what his band was doing, they were sampling before sampling was a thing. And what I mean by that is they were taking lines of music from like Coltrane, right? And then rearranging it and then looping it, right? But then they'd have breaks and they'd have switch ups and little things like that and drops and stuff and different hits that they would do. But they were largely just kind of not all of the music they made, but some of the music they made, they were doing it. They basically were laying down early structures for how hip hop would go, right? And that's why, like, you know, he's probably the most sampled person in hip hop. I mean, the most, in terms of what hip hop samples, he's one of the most sampled artists in the history of music. So definitely James Brown, in terms of his musical contribution. I mean, and not just like on the actual music, but even the idea of being an independent label owner and starting your own stuff and working directly with everything from like promoters to radio people and all of that. Like, he was extremely groundbreaking in a lot of that stuff. So yeah, man, a lot of artists that you see doing that nowadays, he was one of the first to do that. Of course, another artist, you would say Little Richard, another one, you know, in terms of like rock and roll, and when it exploded and became what it became, a lot of that is the direct result of somebody like Little Richard. I would say Prince is another one who's contributed in a major way in terms of being like an artist, like who's done so much in terms of like, you know, his first album, playing every instrument on that album, really fighting for creative control and really branching out and being free. Like, was a black artist, but was like, yo, but I can do this and I can do this, and these things that you consider white music, that really was black music first, and then white artists like started doing it, and now it's mainly associated with white people. It's like, yo, nah, I'm still doing it, fam, because that's a part of our roots, right? That's part of our DNA. It's what we've been doing. And so Prince, I'm a huge Prince fan. And then also for the attention that he brought to the music industry, and like literally writing slave on his face and fighting for you know, control of his work and his name and his legacy and all of that, like, you know, in terms of what he's meant and how he's inspired so many different types of musicians. Stevie freaking Wonder. Oh my God, family. You know what I mean? Like, the amount of great R&B singers that we've had over the years who are directly influenced by that dude, like huge artists who find their influence directly from him. The amount of times his music has changed sonically, how many different times he went in a different direction sonically, and it literally affected how others started making music, right? Jesus, man, how many people he's written for? Same thing with Prince, right? Like how many different people they've written for. And yo, oh my God, fam, I can keep going, man. There's so many though. Those are just the 4 that came off the top of my head. I'm gonna stop there because I'll be on that subject for like another 10 to 20 minutes. But thank you for that question. All right, keep it moving. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I do my best not to let my pain define me, but it absolutely, it has its imprint on everything I do. Even if I don't let it fully define me, it's still very much a part of everything I do. It informs a lot of my decisions, right? So just because I don't always put it on Front Street for everyone to see, just know that even the good that I do, even the positivity I put out there, sometimes directly linked to my pain. You know what I mean? Thank you for your vulnerability and perspective. You are very welcome. Thank you. All right. Love you back, Steph. I don't see that question every day. Word. Eminem has to be on that list. There's no way he can't. Hey, listen, Search. I don't know if Search would be considered one of my greatest, one of the greatest on my list, but he definitely gets an honorable mention. It's like black cats bad luck. Something where bad guys wear black. Has to be a white guy that started all that. It's crazy, man. That line right now would make so many white people extremely uncomfortable. And then I'd just be like, but a white guy said it. A white guy said it, fam. Don't be mad at me. I'm just saying what the white guy said. You know what I'm saying? And yo, man, shout out to MC Search. I got to meet his partner, Pete Nice, a couple weeks ago, man. Definitely dope. Definitely legends. Word. El Producto. Oh, yeah, he could go on there. LP could go on there. I don't love everything he does, but when he's in rare form, he got one of my favorite lines too. Even when I say nothing, it's a beautiful use of negative space. That shit is so hard. That shit is so hard. One of my favorite beats in the underground too. Crazy. Love that joint. Yeah, Tone, of course. All right. Yes, he is. Super slept on. Had no idea. Yeah, man. I'm Puerto Rican, and I absolutely agree. Most of the best rappers are black. It did make me smile to see you show Big Pun so long. Hey, yo, Pun? Come on, yo. Pun is definitely been one of from the moment, first time I heard him. And then, like, he just consistently would destroy everything I heard him on. Yeah, man. No worries. I ain't over here tripping at you yelling. It's all love, Frank. Sorry if I'm not aware. Have you ever considered producing a full-length album for another artist? That would be really cool. Yeah, for sure. I've done a few EPs for a few different artists so far. I haven't done a full-length album yet, but for sure. Yeah, man. Year the Ox is fire. Word. Just was talking about LP. I'm playing catch up. What about Fergie? Hard pass. Unless there's an underground artist named Fergie that came up and I don't know him. If we're talking about the same Fergie, then I'm gonna say no. Thank you. I'm pretty sure you're joking though. All right. Yeah, just kidding. Just saw it. All right. New Jabez music is immortal. Word. Let's see. I just wanted to put my humps in everyone's. Oh man. Let's see. James Brown, Too Cold for sure. What are some albums besides your own you think have no skippable tracks? For me, The Iceberg by Odyssey and Blue Below the Heavens. Yeah, definitely. I like Oz's debut a lot. I feel like that record was great from top to bottom as well. Hey, shout out to the missus for shouting out Riz Ahmed. Riz Ahmed is definitely dope. I like his group. What are they called? The Sweatshop Boys. Yeah, the Sweatshop Boys. I like their music too. Just albums with no skips. Definitely the Low End Theory by Tribe Called Quest. And then their album Midnight Marauders as well. No skips on that. I feel like Busta Rhymes' debut album, The Shining. No skips on that joint. Biggie's Ready to Die album, no skips on that. Redman's Muddy Waters, no skips on that joint. As far as more recent albums, let me think. What's a joint? Man, I love Anderson .Paak, man. Everything that dude does, I really, really love. And so I feel like, what was his album? Malibu, definitely no skips on that joint. And then Oxnard was dope, but the one that was it Oxnard? What was the one after Oxnard? Or was Oxnard the last one? Oh yeah, no I don't really have any tracks I skip on that project he did with Bruno Mars. I really love that record too. And I know that's more mainstream type stuff. But no skips on the first Chronic album. It's a whole lot of stuff I probably wouldn't play comfortably these days in front of people. But I mean, yeah, most times when I press play on that record, it got played top to bottom. Trying to think of some more recent stuff though. Oh yeah, no skips on the Fuji Score album. Let's see. Man, yeah, I could be here all day, fam. I got way too much music. But I appreciate that question though. Thank you. Let's see. Try to go through. Definitely a jam-based artist. Lots of jamming in between lyrics. Yeah, for sure. Definitely. Let's see. Let me take Adultish off of here since we just doing Q&A right now. Getting a few more, and then I got a dip because it's almost 1:30, so we've been over time. Stevie Wonder was the first person that popped into my head at Bernard. Yeah, for sure. Coltrane. Whew. Coltrane's another one, man. Lord have mercy. I mean, okay. Prince's transformation reminds me of Miles Davis. Miles did so much experimentation from modal to pop air. True indeed. True indeed. Y'all are hilarious, yo. The world will never be the same. Same thing with Stevie Wonder. Yeah, super facts. Let's see. How's Dr. Think and Rhyme doing these days? That's a funny question. So, low key, I considered doing a part 2 to Dr. Think and Rhyme called The Bride of Think and Rhyme, where Think and Rhyme basically put together the perfect woman in hip hop in terms of like artistic ability, like pulling different elements from all these different rappers, like from MC Lyte, the Queen Latifah, to Rhapsody, to Remy Ma, to shout out to Eternia, who someone just shouted out. Bernard just shouted out Eternia. Eternia super dope. Invincible from out of Michigan. She's fire, fam. She's fire, man. Shout out to her. Her old partner, Preeta Honey Doc, is super dope. Shout out to the Anomalies. All like it's a hip hop crew with nothing but women practicing every element. And I bumped into one of them when I was in the Bronx a couple weeks ago. And I was just telling them, I was like, you don't understand like how much, like I watched y'all move, how y'all moved as a collective. And I just watch y'all destroy people individually in the underground all the time. Like, like I watched them compete in battles, watching DJ Cutting Candy destroying people in battles, fam. And it was dope because not only was she a woman, but she's Filipina as well. So like just watching that, man, like as a dude coming from Maryland where I didn't experience a whole lot of diversity because growing up in PG is a predominantly black county, and also for the longest was the wealthiest predominantly black county in the United States. I think it was recently passed by I forget what county it was, but anyway, I just didn't experience a whole lot of diversity until I moved to New York. And so seeing their crew, seeing that many women in one crew, like, and it was just like, like they was almost 10 deep, I think. That in itself was dope. But then, like, they were all nice. They were nice. They were super nice. Shout out to Helix as well. Helix was fire. A lot of them still get busy too, man. Shout out to them. Let's see. Another white rapper that needs to be mentioned is Slug from Atmosphere. Yeah, Slug's dope. I don't listen to a ridiculous listen to a ridiculous amount of his music, and that's the only reason. So like, I wouldn't be, like, oh, I don't know if Homeboy Sandman counts, because I know he's Latino, but I think he's Afro Latino, so he technically is black. But yeah, I have Homeboy Sandman, son. Shout out to my man Sam. All right, let's see. Ventura, that's what it was. Thank you, Steph. Yeah, I love that album, top to bottom. Kendrick's last album. Ooh, yeah, I'm slipping. Kendrick's last album don't really have too many skips on it for me. There's like one or two joints that I don't love, but even those it's still better than most stuff out here. Definitely his Good Kid, Mad Kitty, Mad Kitty. Wow, that's an album about something else. Good Kid, Mad City is probably the one I skipped the least stuff on, because I think I love To Pimp a Butterfly. I love the songs on To Pimp a Butterfly more, but there are times when I listen to the album where I really don't necessarily want to listen to all the interludes. I just want to get into the music, right? Because it's one of those things that once I got the idea and what he set out to do, it's like once I've watched the full movie, now it's like I'm just going back to certain scenes and just reliving those moments, right? But there's one track on there that I like. I love the concept, but I do not love how his voice sounds, so I just can't play it. I think it's that U track or whatever. Anyway, Brain Orchestra from the 908. I gotta look them up. I posted one. Hold up. See if we can get that going. I posted one you missed. I know you're not a big flashy jewelry, but not into big flashy jewelry, but there's been a few simpler ones I've seen you rock frequently. What are some of your go-to for a night out? Yeah, man, I like different, I like beads. I definitely like beads. I'm a watch dude. I definitely like watches. I got different watches and stuff. Usually I'm not switching up too much. Like, I have my moments where, hey, shut up, Steph. I see your comment, Dad. But yeah, man, watches, beaded necklaces, things like that. Sometimes I whip out some old school African medallion type joints. But yeah, man, I'm pretty simple. I also grew up in an environment where, look, there was a family I used to be real tight with, and like some of the brothers in that family, several of the brothers in that family, if not all of them, were selling drugs at some point in time. And one of the dudes who used to look after me and look out for me the most, I learned a lot from watching him, because even though he was out here in these streets crazy, like, he was not a flashy dude. He was the polar opposite of most dudes who I knew who was slanging. And he kept, like, when he would do the flashy thing, like, it was almost like he was undercover. Like, he had a car that he drove in the neighborhood, and then he used to rent a space. He used to rent a space at a parking garage where he kept his nicer car, and he never brought it in the neighborhood really unless he absolutely had to. He would go pick up the car from there and then go do things and kind of live another life outside of what he was doing around the way. And so I learned a lot from him, because he just used to say things to me like, like, when you finally come up and you doing a bit better, man, he's like, don't be around here flashing shit in people's faces. He's like, people struggling. You know what I'm saying? Like, and if they struggling, they gonna want some of them gonna want a piece of what you got, especially if you ain't doing nothing to help them out, make their situation better. So, so he's like, when I live that life and I do that, I don't do it around here. I don't do it in front of my people like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I try to keep people out of that side of my business. You know what I mean? And it makes me think of an Andre 3000 line where he says, Bill Gates don't dangle diamonds in the face of peasants when he Microsofting into place. Shout out to 3 Stacks, man. So even when, I'm good and money's right and all of that, like, son, I ain't out here super flashy. Like, even if I could afford like the nicest cars, I probably wouldn't be out here trying to push that in front of like a lot of the folks that I spend a good amount of time around, right? Like, because I still go into certain neighborhoods or still go into certain communities as an educator or to do certain work. And so, so I try not to be too flashy. And it's like, there's a way to be fresh without being extra flashy, right? You can be stylish without stunting on people too hard, you know what I mean? And making yourself a target, and also trying to make them feel less than, Frugal fresh, son. What you getting at the movie theater? You a candy guy, popcorn guy? I like that question. Or doing both with M&Ms and the popcorn, or you sneaking food in? Ooh, we're gonna go for what's that? 1, 2, 3, 4. We're gonna go with number 4. We're gonna take D, sneaking food in. When I'm able to sneak some food in, I will. Sometimes though, most of the time, because we got the whole squad with us, in those cases we just getting some popcorn. They got Impossible nuggets now, finally, you know what I'm saying, for the vegetarian / vegan crowd. So I'll grab me some Impossible nuggets, you know what I mean? Some curly fries, you know, diet straight trash. And if I get some candy, it's usually something chocolate and peanut butter. So like some Reese's cups or some shit like that, you know what I mean? But if I'm getting bougie and I'm going to the fancy theater, I'm going to the the Angelic joint, linking up with my man Early. You know, we get this thing from there. Like, it's a bougie movie theater, but then they got something called the Junk, where it's literally like Rice Krispie treats, pretzels, popcorn, drizzled in like chocolate and peanut butter. Oh, and it's potato chips in it too. That shit is terrible, fam. It's terrible for you, but it tastes amazing. And so that's a once every blue moon type of thing. All right, let's see. All right, y'all. I gotta get ready to go, but I'm gonna try to get yeah, when they teamed up together, yeah. Cause Invincible's dirty. She's super dope. All right. We could probably add our own Tsunami. Yeah, Tsunami, man. Tsunami's dope. Gotta talk to sis. We been supposed to do some stuff, man. All right, peace, Soul Tiger. You good kid, Mad Kitty. You welcome, Steph. That's Steph's next album right there. Someone wants to see Substantial in the evening drip. I mean, look, man, I do all right. You know what I'm saying? Your man's clean up nice. Frugal fresh. No jewelry that's chunky. Ride the own land. Yeah, man. Trying to get there. Pound cake. Word. All right. Hey, Stan, before we go, I got a question about some merch, so I want to hit you up on your site. So watch for a message from Eric G. Got you. You got it, brother. Red Velvet. Yeah, yes, that's the song that Andre line was from. All right. Funny question. The Q&A turned into speed dating real quick. It's too funny. All right, y'all. Will do. Hey, thanks, family. All right, y'all. I'm going to get out of here, man. Once again, thank y'all so much for tuning in. Be sure to hit up the merch store if you haven't already. When you hit up the merch store, remember for the next 2 weeks to be sure to use the code SUMMER25. So that way you get a discount. You get 25% off all merch. You can use that code on Bandcamp, or you can use it on the store at subartandmusic.com. So I appreciate y'all as always for supporting. If you don't plan on copping any merch, that's fine, but please consider donating to the channel. As I mentioned, monetization on my channel is currently turned off until I resolve some issues with getting my YouTube store set up. So whenever that's fixed, then that will be back up. But in the meantime, if you want to donate and support, for those of you who choose not to purchase any merch at the time, consider donating via those links below. Cash App, Venmo, PayPal, all of it is appreciated. Thank y'all so much. Y'all never have to support, but I'm always grateful when you do, because this is how I provide for me and mine. And it helps me come up with funds that keeps my equipment and everything up to date, and also keeps the keeps things going. Because trust, man, most folks ain't making money while they're making the music. Which reminds me, updates coming to Patreon. I know I mentioned it before. I've been slacking, but there's a lot of stuff I'm gonna start pouring into that. I've been focused on getting the album done, so that way, like, once I start putting stuff up there, it does not stop. You know what I mean? And so stuff coming to Patreon real soon. So thank y'all so much for tuning in, man. I hope y'all had a great time. I know I did. I always enjoy these, but y'all be well. I'll see you soon, but talk to you sooner. Peace.